Hola, hola, hello. It is Renee. I am going to tag a few people if I can. I don't know how to, it's not showing me. I want to wait just a few seconds, see if I can tag some folks to come in. Today is that's my cat. Today I'm kicking off our pre-planning for 28-day challenge. The family learning language challenge will be starting July the 1st. Today I wanted to, excuse me, today I wanted to start some pre-planning. Let me clean my camera really quick. Okay, let me see. Oh, there we go. I think that's a lot better. Hola, ¿cómo estás, Felicia? It's good to see you today. Now, again, the language challenge is good for any language. Okay, thank you, Felicia. I had to clean my camera so you could actually see me. So it's for any language. The language learning journal is for any language. It's not just for Spanish. It's for any language that you are learning brand new with your family, or even a heritage language that you're bringing back or trying to be more consistent with in the family. So it has broad uses as far as any language. It is written in English. Maybe sometime down the road I'll be able to get some translators and translate it to other languages. But today we are going to be doing some pre-planning. I have a pre-planning worksheet that is in the book. If you don't have the book already, you can just click the link that's in the description. You just type in your email, you'll get the download right away. It's for free. And also, there's a link. You can go ahead and order the book so that you can be part of the challenge when it starts July the 1st. So let's talk about pre-planning. Well, I still haven't tagged anyone. I'm going to tag a few people here, so I know some people were waiting. So here we go. And Felicia, you can tag some people too. I don't know how to do that. It's not letting me do it. I'm just going to forget about it, I guess. Okay. It's not letting me tag. All right. So we'll go ahead and talk about pre-planning. I'll just share it to my page. Not that page. It's just going to take a moment. Whoops. Okay, so here we go. As far as pre-planning, when we're pre-planning our the language learning, um, our language learning with the family, we're looking at goals. We want to know, why are you doing this? As you're pre-planning, you can look at your particular situation to even decide what language you want to try to focus on first, especially if you have more than one language in the family. For example, in our family, we're English Spanish bilingual, but my daughter's learning Chinese. So for this language challenge, I'm actually going to focus on Chinese, even though I know I could do a little bit more with Spanish as far as helping boost her vocabulary a little bit more, maybe a little bit more reading and things like that. However, since she's speaking that every day, it's not something that that I'm going to focus on for this challenge. I am going to focus on the Chinese. So for the pre-planning worksheet, if you've already downloaded, you see it says there's many reasons why a family wants to learn or maintain a language. You want to put down your goal and your why, because that is what's going to keep you going when when things are going quite the way you really wanted them to. Sometimes our attitudes are maybe not our attitudes, but sometimes our moods aren't in the right place. You know, we might have had a hard night the night before and we're getting up tired and we're like, I don't want to think in another language today. Sometimes those things get in the way. Sometimes it's our children. I don't want to speak that language. Why? I don't understand anything that you're saying today. I don't care. Why are we doing this? So having a why in place, it helps keep you focused and it helps you want to push on, because it's like, I said this is going to be a priority for us. And even though I don't feel like it right now, I'm going to go ahead and do this because this is our this is why we're doing it. I want my children to be able to speak to extended family, or we want to move. Oh, I'm so happy. Oh, Sean just got her book. Great. Um, we want to move to China one day, maybe, live there for 6 months or a year and just really soak in the culture. And we want to have some language skills because it's not the easiest language to just pick up right away. Um, I want my child, or I want my family to have more knowledge of other cultures and to be better global citizens and be able to empathize more with people that are different from them. Or I want to be able to talk to our next door neighbor because all they speak is German, and they just arrive here and they don't have a whole lot of English, and I want to be able to speak to them. I want to be able to say something. So, I mean, all of these are valid reasons. Any reason, whatever your reason is, that is your why. Also think about the situation that you're in. A lot of times when I'm speaking, I know I focus on, oh, hi, Stacy. Hello. A lot of times I focus as though everyone is in the United States. I do realize everyone is not in the United States. I belong to several bilingual family boards, and people are in many different countries and they're focusing on different languages. So they may have German and English in the home, but they're living in France and the child is attending French school or something like that. So what do they want? What are they going to focus on? Well, they're getting French outside, so they want to focus on German because that's dad's language and he's not home all day because he's working. So think of your own situation as well, so you can decide what language it is that you're going to focus on. How can you make it a priority in your home? And think of what could be a setback for you. What's going to get you back on track? So again, we're talking about pre-planning for the family language challenge. And if you don't have your book, there is a link in the description. You can get the pre-planning worksheet for free. It's a download. All you have to do is type in your email and your name, and you can download this pre-planning worksheet. Also, while you're filling out this pre-planning worksheet, that's going to really get your mind working, and it's going to help you want to commit more. Sometimes we're thinking, and I'm going to use myself as an example because I've done this plenty of times. We've started many languages or several languages, and we haven't always gone through to fluency with all of them for various reasons. So sometimes, and all of it came back to lack of planning. My daughter wants to learn this language. Okay, that's great. Let's listen to some Pimsleur tapes, or back then it was tapes, Pimsleur tapes, or whatever. I might have this workbook, or we might listen to a few shows in French, but it didn't really continue because there wasn't a plan to back it up. Like oh, great, is that Guggy? Great. So we have so this is why we need to plan. Usually when we have a plan in place, we're more likely to follow through. When you're writing it down, it's something you can go back and look at and say, okay, this is what I was doing. I don't want to get off track for this. This is going to help keep things in perspective. So as you're doing this, the number 2 question was this: what are some potential setbacks and what can you do to get over that hump? We don't think about these things sometimes. We just don't think about it. Like I said before, we'll wake up and just don't feel like doing it. We've been up all night. We had a hard night, and we wake up and we really don't want think in another language because it's going to take more brain power than we think we have at the time. And if you've already made it a point to say, this is going to be my priority, then you say, you know what, I'm just going to do one thing. I said this week I was going to focus on this, this, and this phrase. Today I'm just going to say one sentence and that's it. And sometimes that is just the motivation that you needed, that little itty bitty push to get you started up again. So we're going to write down, what are some of those setbacks? Is everyone in the family, or the children, is usually the children that we're really trying to focus on, but are the children like all in? Are they a little skeptical? What happens on those days where they're just like, Mom, I've been in school all day, I don't want to hear anything else, right? Or I just woke up, can you just speak to me in whatever the home language actually is? Or I am too hungry to remember that this is color in Chinese. All right, it can be anything, anything. You know how we are. We're all like this. We're human, right? So, what are those things that can just completely turn you off? And you know those buttons that can be pushed that'll say, you know what, I don't feel like doing this today. All right, everyone go outside, or it's because it's summer. Okay, everyone just go outside and play. Or, okay, it's just time to go. I don't care. Go turn on the TV. Go put on Netflix, and whatever that will just blow it off. So we're going to plan for those moments when we don't feel like doing it and say, well, if that happens, this is what I'm going to do. When I wake up in the morning and I say, okay, all right, daughter, we're going to do Mandarin morning. Oh, Mom, why? Let's just have Mandarin lunch. She likes to tell me that. Let's just have Mandarin lunch. If I say yes, Mandarin lunch might not happen. So I think it's better to just go ahead and work with the Mandarin morning. And by the way, what would you like to eat? And I'll say that in Chinese. Okay, and she'll go boo or whatever. No. And I'm like, okay, let's try this sentence instead, and she'll repeat it. And it gets her going. But that's the one thing. Sometimes we forget. Guys, we forget we're parents. We got other things on our head, and we will totally forget. I'm supposed to be using this language at this time. What can you do about that? Maybe you put an alarm on your phone. 8 o'clock every morning, the alarm comes on and it says Chinese or it says German. Whatever you need to do, that's number 2. This is how you're making it a priority. These are the setbacks that you're thinking of and how you can get over that hump. So my suggestion, what this book is about, is starting with a routine. I give some examples. I go through that step by step as far as how to use a routine. So this pre-planning page actually comes after the instructions. I even have a sample dialogue for mealtime in here. Yeah, I have a sample dialogue in here. So you're going to choose a routine and realize that there can be many steps in a routine. So for example, the example in the book is mealtime. It's not always just sitting around the table. And we're not going to just sit around and say, milk, milk, bread, bread, cereal, cereal. That's not how we talk at the table. So we really need to think through. If it's mealtime, are we going to do the sitting down at the table portion? Are we going to do the preparation before mealtime? That's one part of mealtime. We're just going to focus on one small part, especially if it's a brand new language. Just start really small. Maybe it's prepping the table. You might want to start with that. Sitting down at the table is another part. Cleaning up after yourself is another part. All of that is involved in mealtime, and you can just choose one part. So part of your prep is to decide what part or of what routine am I going to start with. Then we're going to move on. Oh, and what language? What's the language? Well, especially if you have more than one language or more than 2 languages in the home, you might want to decide, I want to focus on this particular language in this particular 28 days. Think about what you already know in the target language. If it is a native language, then that might be easy. You already know that I already know how to talk everything about mealtime in Spanish. Okay, I want to use Spanish for this one if it's a native language. But maybe your children don't remember all these, all these nuances or all these different parts. So what do you want them to know about that particular, what do you already know? I know this, I know this, I know this, I know this. So what would you like to know? What would you like your children to know? For those of us that are learning a new language, for example, for us as Chinese, as I began to, I realized I knew how to say, what do you want to eat? But then I realized there were certain, um, like certain foods, certain drinks, or certain just different ways of asking for things, or would you like, or do you need, do you need a spoon? Do you need a fork? I mean, just these little things. Okay, I need to know this or that. And so what I could do is as I was writing it down, if I had a tutor, I had a teacher and I had a tutor, I can go to the tutor and say, okay, we were having this conversation. I realized I don't know this. So let's write down those things so that you can go back and find out how to do those things. And remember that this is supposed to be fun. This is not a okay. All right, great, great. Yeah, we something. You know what? We do treat language as a bonus sometimes, and that's one of the reasons why we we put in our why. Why do we want to do this? Because if we see it as something that's just extra, then it's very easy to set it aside. They can learn when they're in high school. People in high school are not learning language. I mean, they're learning how to read some things, but they're not really learning how to use it and the nuances of the language and stuff. So let's get it, and then plus we're learning together so that we motivate one another to speak. Um, so I was just answering someone else's post, and I just totally forgot what I was saying. But that's just me. Oh yes, it's supposed to be fun. When we are learning language or when we're talking a different language, don't you just feel good about yourself? And it's like, oh, this is so cool. I can say hi in 50,000 different languages. I mean, it does. It does. It feels good. You can think of some fun ways to um, to practice some things. For example, we have different ages of children. So the way you're doing it with a toddler would be a little bit different from the way you're working with your teens, but it can still be in fun ways. You can turn things into games. Um, it doesn't have to be, okay, I'm going to say this and you're going to say that. And it's just, I'm spitting out something, they're spitting out something. Um, it could be something. I wish I had more props. I don't. Let's let's say you're talking and I have 3 books here. I happen to know that this is on tres libros. I can ask, oh, do you like my dos libros? And they're like, dos. Is that right? Is she saying something? I said, wait a minute, that's not right. I don't remember what the word for 3 was, but I know that dos wasn't it. So it starts getting them thinking, hello, Karen, nice to see you on here. So you can think of some games. I think in the next couple of days, I'm going to post some resources from some other bloggers. Bloggers. I can't talk anymore. Okay, from some other bloggers. For example, chocolate sushi roll. That's Tara Harris. Right now she's in Japan. She learned with her kids Japanese, and it's not her native language. And she has some good ideas for different games. We have uh, Fortune Cookie Mama has a lot of good games. It's in Chinese. I mean, it's in English, but it's about Chinese. But you kind of get some ideas of different games that you can do for different routines in different areas. But make it fun. This is not I'm sitting down with a textbook and we have to check this off and check this off. No, if we're sitting down at mealtime, we don't sit there with a textbook. We're sitting down having a conversation. You might even want to think of some conversational things. If I'm sitting down at mealtime, I like to teach my kids, Mom, this food was great. Yeah, it was great. I want you to tell me this in this new language. Tell me the food was good. I mean, for me, that's fun. I like being told that my food is good in many different languages. Yes, chocolate sushi roll. Yes. She comes on here periodically. Let me see. I want to tag chocolate. Where is she at? There she is. All right. So I want to tag her. As a matter of fact, I think next week we're going to be talking about another part of our pre-planning is gathering resources and our support system. And she just put out a great she actually just put out a great YouTube on, who you surround yourself with and having a good support system in these language learning endeavors. So um, I like to give her a shout out. But yeah, let's think of some ways that we can make this fun. I use mealtime as an example just because it's something that we all do. We all eat. So it's just the first thing that comes to mind. It's one of the first things I teach is mealtime, and there's like 4 different things that you can do during mealtime that you can focus on. So it's a very broad category actually when you sit down and think about it. But I mean, think of other routines. You have morning routines, you have like chore routines, you have getting ready for school routine. There's a lot of different routines. So there's different ways that we can make these fun. So that is what I have for today. Again, if you're just getting on, we're talking about pre-planning for the language challenge. If you do not already have the book, there's a pre-planning worksheet in the book. However, if you look in the description of this video, there is a link where you can download a free copy of the pre-planning worksheet. And there's also the link so that you can buy the book. You'll get it in time for the challenge to begin July the 1st. So this first couple of weeks, we're doing some pre-planning. We're going to talk about our resources and how we can get ready for these things. So that was what I wanted to talk about today. I will be out of town and may not be able to answer some things come Thursday night through Sunday. I will be at a homeschool conference actually, and I will be speaking about active language learning, some of the things that I'll be talking to you about, in fact. So I will be seeing you next week. And if you have any questions, if it's after Thursday, I might not be able to get back to you until a little bit later, but I will come back and I will definitely answer any questions that you have. And so you guys have a great evening, and I am really looking forward to this family language learning challenge. I'm going to be walking it right along with all of you as we do Chinese, because just like every human, I have fallen off the wagon, but I'm getting back on. So you guys have a great evening, and I will see you later. Ciao.